There we go. There it is.
Aha,
Red light
now
appears.
we got a red light.
Red light.
Okay. Good evening. This meeting of the Oak Park City Council is called to order Tuesday, January 20th, 2026 at 7:02 p.m. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. City Clerk Ed Norris, would you call the roll?
Mayor McClellan.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Edgar.
Here.
Councilmember Radner. Councilmember Whitehead. Councilmember Crawford.
Okay. We have a quorum. Is there a motion to approve the agenda? Okay. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion is approved. Consent agenda. The following routine items are presented for approval without discussion as a single item. Should any member wish to discuss or disapprove any item, it must be dropped from the blanket motion and considered separately. A, regular City Council meeting minutes for January 5th, 2026. B, payment request from Newman Smith Architecture for architectural services on the Event Hub for the total amount of $2,320. C, request authorization to bid the 2026 Water Main Replacement Project, M785. D, Public Safety Activity Report for December 2025. E, request authorization to bid the 2026 Landscape Maintenance Project. F, request authorization to bid the 2026 Lawn Maintenance Project. G, request to approve invoice number 1 for the 2025-26 Tree Survey Project, which will be very interesting, counting up all the trees and what kind of condition they are in, to Davy Resource Group of Kent, Ohio, in the amount of $9,095. H, AC/DC minutes, November 13th and December 11th, 2025. I, recycling minutes from all of 2025. Excellent minutes. CIA minutes for November 20th, 2025. K, request to approve an agreement with the Berkeley School District to collect their 2026 property tax levy and transfer the collected funds as required by state statute. L, new and renewal of licenses for January 20, 2026. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Second.
Okay. Radner and Edgar. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. That puts us to item 6, recognition of visiting elected officials. Seeing none, item 7. Say it again. Don Corcoran. Okay. Just, she's not here to speak, but we recognize Trustee Corcoran from the school board. Thank you for coming and sharing. 7, special recognition. A, annual audit presentation. City Manager Tungate, who are we calling first?
Well, first of all, good evening, Madam Mayor, members of council, members of the public. We are going to start with our Deputy Finance Director. I don't know what his title is at this point, but Carl Johnson, as usual, is going to go over a layman's review of the audit. And then, of course, we have our city auditor here, Yao and Yao is here. But Carl, could you take it away? And we have some slides we're going to be putting up on the screen, and I know these are hard to see, council members. These are in your packet as well.
Are you in the?
Right, yep, there's a green dot. All right, tonight, they actually led me out of my cube for my favorite night in the world of discussing our annual audit report. So they said limited to 1 to 2 hours. I'm good. It will be tough, but I will try my bestest. No, so really, this is exciting for me. We had another great year, which I'm excited to share. And truly, there's a lot of things going on here. I can't remember the last time we had so much going on, so much good stuff going on for the community and for our city. And I can't wait to show you what's going on and where they are in the audit report. So with that, what I've done and what I've historically do is I copy certain pages out of our annual audit report. So the finance department is responsible for all of these 50, 70, 100 pages of fine reading, which I know you all read. But I just take a half dozen of the important pages out, and that's what I'm going to focus on tonight and do it. And the city manager said layman's term. He didn't say lame. He said layman. So just to make sure we're all on the page. So I'm going to start with the first slide here. There's a lot going on here, so I'll talk from this one for a little bit. But just to highlight some of the new things that are going on. So the middle column there that I have highlighted called the Hub Construction Fund. So that is the hub. And I can't tell you how many times people come in to give me their money in the mornings and say, what the heck's going on over there? And so we excitedly tell them about the hub. The hub actually started, the first construction was in end of May, beginning of June. So within this fund, you can see there's about $800,000 worth of expenditures. So it just started. That project, as you know, is about $10.5 million. So it just started. The exciting thing with that, again, it's all grant funded and funded by our general operating funds. We've been saving our money since 2002 towards recreation projects, and this is our first large one that we kicked off. So it started there. You can see there was about $4.9 million of transfers in, and at the end of last year, there's a $4.5 million set aside. That project, as we said, is about $10.5 million. There's another $4 to $5 million in grants, and the city's committed to contribute from the general fund another $1 million or so over the next year or two. So all funded by city funds, no outside borrowing. Again, that's very hard to do for a project of that magnitude.
Carl,
So again,
can I
exciting.
interrupt you, just to ask a question on that front? One of the things that I want to have you clarify is those general fund dollars, are those operating dollars or a combination of operating and capital improvement fund dollars that we set aside?
Originally, we had set general fund, it's pretty much all general fund operating dollars that we had been setting aside in a capital, Parks and Rec capital improvement fund. So it's a combination of the two. But all of that funds, and I'll point it out here in another fund, we had a Parks and Rec capital project fund that had $2.5 million at the end of last year. That fund, we identified we were going to use all of those proceeds to fund the hub. So all of that money was transferred over along with additional general fund monies. So again, the hub is anticipated to be finished by the end of this fiscal year. So this is a capital project fund, which means everything within this fund is the proceeds needed to fund the project as well as the related costs. So it's all contained in one fund, so we know exactly how much it costs, where the proceeds come from, et cetera. And at the end of this, it should zero itself out. It will zero itself out. So, all right, the next column right next to it is the community center construction fund. So as you know, literally 2 days before the end of our fiscal year, 2 or 3 days before the end of our fiscal year, we issued bonds, the first round of bonds related to the community center. As you know, our voters, our taxpayers approved 2 millages. One was an operating millage for the Parks and Rec Fund, and the other was the debt service millage for the construction of the community center. So round one of debt issuances, which was about $9.7 million, was issued right at the end of our fiscal year. Again, all of those monies go into a separate fund by itself for the sole purpose of constructing the community center. What that $10 million is going to be used for is demolition costs, design costs, architect costs, all of the preliminary costs needed before actual construction takes place. And that a lot of that will take place in the current fiscal year that we're in now.
Okay, so Carl, on that front too, I just want to make sure that we're clear. The council members, we intend on issuing 2 separate bond issues for the $44 million project that we were authorized to do. The first one was $10 million for the cost that Carl just outlined. The reason we did that is because there is a limitation, statutory limitation, on the amount of time that can go on before those funds expire, if you will. And it's a 3-year stretch of time that you have to use the funds that you've issued bonds for, correct?
Correct. Yeah, so if you have 90% of your funds must be spent within 3 years of that. And so if we were to issue it all, we don't feel that we would have been able to spend all of the $44 million during that time period. So issue the first round as of right now. An additional benefit of that was interest rates were really high. So this money is there, and we were earning 4.5% on it at the time of the bond issuance, and we're only paying 5% on it. So it was actually, a decent time to be issuing debt and having it set aside.
Okay, so that's the other thing, is we can, as we issue this debt, state law allows us to invest the proceeds for it when we're not, obviously not being used, and
Correct.
reapply those proceeds back into the project.
Yes, they are restricted. They are attached to the bond monies and can only be used again for that purpose. So again, additional funds available to us.
And this
to
is the
fund community
arbitrage that we hear about, correct?
Yeah, arbitrage is the difference between the interest rate we earn and the interest rate we pay. We're not supposed to,
Yeah.
we're not supposed to pay 3% interest and make 5% on it, because that's not the purpose of this. So, yeah, arbitrage is just making sure that the interest rates we're earning on it are less than what we're paying, and that's definitely the case.
And when will the next issuance be, and for how much?
So the balance of this is about 40, or of the 44 million, we issued about almost 10. So the 34 million will depend on the timing of when we're actually going to start construction, because we will need those funds on hand when a $30-40 million project gets underway. Funds go very quickly, and so we'll need to have those on hand, et cetera. Probably in advance of that, just like this one, so we can get it invested, maybe make a couple dollars on our dollars before it goes before we spend all of the money per se. But it's probably slated towards early next fiscal year. So
Yeah.
not the year we're in now, probably within the next year. So
I think we've talked about the spring of '27, issuing the remaining bonds for that. And that would coincide with our architectural process and, the zoning amendments and things.
So again, when have we had a $10.5 million hub project, a $44 million community center going on at the same time? I mean, it's just crazy. And again, we're fortunate the voters said, yes, that's what we want. And again, the hub is part of the Parks and Rec master plan, and a whole lot of planning and a whole lot of grants. I mean, I was amazed when this first came up. How are you getting $5 or $10 million worth of grants? And the city got them. Kudos to everybody here at the city. So it's fun, it's exciting, it's a lot of work for finance, but we're loving it. It's very exciting. And we want the trailer to be moved outside our window as quickly as possible, because it's blocking our view.
We got all these grants without Crystal, can you imagine?
All right, and then the first column there is the one I was kind of waiting for at the end, because again, this, it's not as exciting. But again, good news in here. This is our general fund, our general operating fund. So this is the fund that houses our general operating revenues, our state shared revenues, et cetera. It pays for our general operating costs like city manager's office, finance, assessing, technical planning, all of those. See, I called you technical planning and not muni service, sorry. Muni service, et cetera. All of the general funds, departments that we have within the city. Public safety, again, a huge part of that. All of those are what's paid out of our general operating fund. So in this fund here, we actually finished the year dipping into our fund balance by 277. So at first glance, that sounds like not a good thing, but it's actually $600,000 better than we thought. And I'll get into that on the very next slide. So we actually had a very good year as far as that goes, keeping our fund balance at about $5.1 million at that magical 17-18% right where we want it to be. So again, great news on that slide. The next one. This is the little more detail on the general fund itself. And as I pointed out a second ago, if you look at that, the second column there, our original budget we passed said revenues will equal expenditures. We ended the year with an amended budget that said we were going to dip into fund balance by $855. Well, what the heck are we dipping into it for $855? The biggest part of that is what we call rollover budget amendment. I know we bring them to you every year at the beginning of the year. $500,000 of that use of fund balance was projects we had budgeted and were underway at the end of the previous fiscal year that we're not going to finish until the current fiscal year. So those are that's why our fund balance was better than it should have been a year ago. And then when those projects were completed, they were completed in the current fiscal year. So outside of that, which is about $500,000, we had said we're going to use an additional $300,000. I believe it was cameras for public safety. There was a drone. There was emergency demo that we had to do, some of those kind of things. If you look at the actual in the next column over, we actually only dipped into the 277. So you see there the favorable variance of $677,000. So if you back out those same rollovers that we talked about, we only had about $350 worth of rollovers. So we actually were $350,000 better than we thought we were going to end up. And on top of that, again, the most important part, and again, something we're very proud of, is with the increased revenues that we had, so we exceeded our revenues for the last fiscal year, and our departments did an excellent job staying within their budgets. We were able to transfer an additional $650,000 out of the general fund to the hub fund to cover those costs. So we originally planned about $650,000. We ended up transferring $1.3 million to the hub out of our general operating funds during this past fiscal year. Again, all of our what we've been trying to do since 2022 is any excess dollar we have, put it towards the hub so that we don't have to issue any debt. So all very good stuff. One of the only issues with that, though, is we didn't know we were going to do that good until after the books were closed, until after everything was recorded, after June 30, and the accounting rules don't allow us to come back to you and say, hey, let's amend the budget to recognize the fact that we have this extra contribution we want to make. So it is an unfavorable variance. We transferred more than we thought. The auditors had to write us up because we were over budget in that line item, but if you're ever going to be over budget, there's no better reason to be over budget is literally just taking the money out of the general fund and setting it aside for the hub. So that's one of the things that's significant, and again, it's over budget, so they're required to disclose that to you. So that's one of the items there. But again, exciting that we were able to basically double our contribution into the hub towards the funding. Questions before, while I take a breath? You know me, so.
I do have a question.
All right.
Mayor Pro Tem Julie Edgar.
You might not have gotten to this yet, but
Yep.
what's the difference in the taxes, the revenues from property taxes from 24 to 25? How much more did we collect?
So inflation for that year was we were 3.1% for last fiscal year. No, that's current fiscal year, sorry. Getting them all confused. It was 5.1, so we were capped at 5% inflation. So our property taxes got 5% for inflation, and we had new growth of about 1%. So we were up about 6% from the previous year in property taxes. Again, part of the excess that we had was those never seen before inflationary rates of 5.1 and 7.5, I think were the two previous years of inflation. There's no way we budgeted that amount. So when those actually came in, we were able to utilize those to put towards the hub and other expenditures, that came up at the time. So unfortunately, we know what the inflation rate is for the next fiscal year coming. That's 2.7. The 20-year average before COVID was about 2.4. So inflation seems to be coming back down to normal levels per se. But unfortunately, that means we're only going to see that amount of increase in property taxes plus any new growth, which we know we don't have a ton of new growth here. So, but we'll take any increase we can get for sure. So,
Any further questions? Thank you for putting it into layman's English.
well, I got 10 more, Mayor.
Oh, mercy.
So the next one. The next one is the Parks and Rec. You see their second column there. That's our Parks and Rec Improvement Fund. So that's where we had been setting the money aside since 2022. We said we want to do some significant Parks and Rec stuff. We were waiting for the master plan to be done. And then once we decided the hub is what we're going to do, we transferred the balance of that over into the hub fund. So again, that along with another $2 million transferred during the current year is how the $4 million came to exist within the hub fund. So again, great planning on our part. And again, that's nowhere near the 10 million needed, but those grants and other funding that we were able to obtain has really got us over the edge. And then the other exciting thing, I don't know if it's too exciting for you guys, but again, it's an improvement that was long overdue that we finally were able to find funding for. So the 11-mile parking district lot, whatever it's called, that one was in badly need of repair. The price tag for that, it was like $2.2 million. And finding the funding for that was very difficult. We had been talking about this for years and years and years. And again, grants, the remainder of the grants that were out there, again, excellent job by the city and the staff to track down grants. We were able to fund all but a few $100,000 of it. I think less than 10% will ultimately be charged to the owners in that area for the parking lot. Cost of $2.2 million, and to only be able to have to special assess between $200,000 and $300,000 is an incredible feat. And that didn't start till after the fiscal year ended, but you could see we had more than $400,000 set aside. We had grants on hand that hadn't been spent yet. They are not part of the revenue expenses. And ultimately, like I said, with the special assessment, that $2.2 million project, I believe, is almost completed as of right now. Something about Arctic freeze or something that's kind of holding things up. But outside of that, it was really moving along until Mother Nature said to slow down a little bit. So again, another exciting thing if parking lots can actually be exciting. So, next, again, I'll try to go quick. I know. You see there the major street and the local street funds, the second and third one. If you look down at their fund balances, you go, whoa, wait a minute. We got $1 million and $2.3 million in fund balance. Those are the ones, every dime we get, we commit to doing roads. So this is just, the only reason there's fund balance there is just a matter of timing, because the construction season is spring to fall or whatever, and that always tends to straddle 2 fiscal years. So all of that is fully committed. You see that in your budget documents annually. So just a reminder, we still get about $3.4 million from the state for our share of the road tax. That's going up with the new legislation that just went through, and that'll be part of your next budget. But as of the year ended 25, that's the amount that we receive for that.
Oh, can I just say, we think it's going up.
Yeah, exactly.
As of right now, we don't yet know what's going to happen with those dollars as they're being clawed back by folks in the legislature.
Exactly.
Committed dollars, I might add.
Yep. And then the fourth column in there is the Parks and Rec Fund. So you may or may not have known the Parks and Rec operations, because it was more than 50% funded by the general fund, was part of the general fund. Well, when the new recreation millage was passed, the operating millage part of that was passed, Parks and Rec then became self-supporting, for lack of better words. The city still kicks in $200,000 or $300,000 into the fund, but with the additional operating millage, it now becomes self-supporting, not more than 50% funded by the general fund, and therefore can be shown separately. Again, we'd like to house all of our costs, all of the revenues generated from Parks and Rec and the related expenditures in a single fund, in a single operating. So it's not commingled as part of the general fund, it's on its own. And so July 1 of 2024 was the first year, so this last year, the year that you're looking at right now, was the first year Parks and Rec was segregated by itself. And you can see there, it ended the year with about $9,000 of fund balance. So the revenues that are coming in are being used exclusively for Parks and Rec related activities. This slide is just a reminder how much we continue to invest in our city, in our infrastructure. This is the capital assets note. The first page is just the general governmental assets. So this is roads, trucks, and equipment, and computers, and all of that kind of fun stuff. So last year we spent about $3.4 million of general operating funds in that. And on the next page is the amount we spent on water and sewer lines. So again, as much as we love those, we spent another $3.3 million on water and sewer lines and infrastructure in the water and sewer fund related areas. So we continue to invest all we can into our infrastructure. As we know, it's not sufficient, but at least we continue to, rather than do nothing, we continue to do all we can. And continue to get grants and everything else we can to continue to address our infrastructure needs. Debt, every year we talk about debt and we're excited about how much we're paying down. This year, oh my gosh, we increased our debt by that $9.6 million. Well, again, that is voter approved. It is for that purpose and that purpose only. So that is new as part of it. We paid down the old debt about $1.9 million, $1.835 million. The 3 other debts we have, there's 3 other bonds, or we call them refunding bonds. All of those were issued for road projects, so those were paving of roads. All of those come with attached millages, And as our tax bases come up, has been coming up, the millage rates have been dropping at just a little bit every year. You probably don't see it too much on your tax bills, but they have been dropping. And I highlighted the very top one. About 3 years, that first one will drop off. So that millage will go away in 3 years. So that'll be nice there. So, but we continue to pay that down, and the one below it is our water and sewer debt. The only debt we have in our water and sewer fund is actually not even water and sewer, it's stormwater, it's the Coon Drain. And a significant portion of that's been paid down. There's only about $300,000 left of that as well. So again, living within our means, fiscally responsible, and continue to pay down our debts. Lastly, these last couple are just our pension funds. We can't stop without talking about pensions. So our general employees pension fund has about $38 million worth of liabilities. Because remember, this is actually closed. So 5 years ago, we had $39 million worth of liabilities. So again, the liability is how much should the city set aside for any employee who has retired or can retire under this system per our actuaries. And so our liabilities actually dropped by $1 million over the last 5 years, only because our pension system is closed, which means no new employees that are hired in can join that system. I believe the last number I saw was 10 or 11 active employees are the only ones left that are active members of this. After they retire, there'll be no pensioners left, and we'll just be paying our retirees. We've got $18 million set aside, and we're about 57% funded. As you know, I think we've come to you several times, the state requires a 60% minimum funding level for this. The remedy is you have to get it to 60% in the next 30 years. So we've been filing our reports and paying our actuarial contributions, and we're on track to do exactly what we're supposed to as far as that goes.
Carl, I just want to just add to that. So the 60% requirement was a condition of the grant monies that we received, was it 2 years ago, I think now?
Yeah, it was, they basically held our revenue sharing hostage, our statutory revenue sharing hostage if we didn't address it, yes. So we
And I
did
just
get some
want
grant
to
monies.
point out that those dollars from the state helped tremendously, but this is the highest percentage-wise that the general system has been funded in my entire 14-year period of time here now. As far as the public safety system goes, the highest we had was 68% back in '21, and it's at about 65% now.
Correct. I just presented my next slide, so yes. Yeah, again, the police and fire fund, the liability continues to grow because that system is not closed and is open. All of our new hires go into that system. So the liability grows as well as our funding level goes. But again, the 65% is above the 60. It's right where we need to be. Both of those will remain approximately at that level for the next 4 or 5 years or whatever, unless the market, we have a couple bang years in the market or et cetera. The actuaries project the next 5 to 7 years we will start seeing an increase towards that. So. And yes, that is it. So.
Wow.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thanks. I thank you for listening and no dozing off and all that kind of good stuff. So like I say, it's an exciting time to be part of Oak Park, and I'm happy to be part of it. So any questions you might have, I'd be happy to do it. Oh, well, that was me. You know, that's just the auditor guy. So, so next I'll turn over the actual auditor, Michael Rolka. And if I can remember how to do this, control something. There it is. All right, and then. So again, the documentation is ours. He is hired by you guys to tell you, are the numbers accurate? Did we follow our internal controls? Is everything as you would expect it to be? And so to the extent he finds anything and or says we're all perfect and he doesn't need to tell anything, that's what he will be telling you tonight. So this is your guy to really find out the dirt on the finance department. So again, I appreciate it. Thanks.
Thanks, Carl. Well, good evening. Thank you for having me. My name is Mike Rolka with Yo and Yo. You know, I wish I could present the financial results as well as you can, Carl, and as enthusiastically, but I don't think I can, so good job, Carl. As Carl said, I'm here to present our opinion, what our responsibilities are, what findings we may have had, what recommendations we might have had, and I'm not going to touch on any of the numbers since Carl just went through all of that. So I really just have a couple of slides, and I'm happy to take any questions throughout or at the end, whatever you all prefer. So first, what is the purpose of an audit? And a lot of times people think it's just to find fraud, and that really is not the purpose of a financial statement audit. The purpose of a financial statement audit is to review the numbers and make sure that they're materially correct. And we provide reasonable assurance that they are materially correct, because there's thousands, maybe millions of transactions that happen throughout the year. And so we test those transactions on a test basis. So we cannot possibly look at every single transaction. With that, what we have issued on these financial statements is called an unmodified opinion. And that's the highest level of assurance you can receive on your financial statements. And that's what you want to hear every single time you have an auditor standing in front of you. It's like an A+ on your report card. Management's responsibility for the financial statements, as Carl already went over, is the preparation of the financial statements and the fair presentation of those statements. And that also includes the design, the implementation, and maintenance of internal controls. So those internal controls should be set up to detect and correct errors in a timely manner. Again, our responsibility is simply to look at the policies, look at the procedures, review the controls, and verify that those financial statement numbers are accurate and materially correct, and then express an opinion on financial statements. So again, bottom line of the audit, if I only said one word to you, would be, 2 words would be unmodified opinion, and that's great. We have a couple of other reports that would be included in your packet that I'd like to go over, just the high-level information on it, the pieces that you all need to know. This is required communication to you all, and I'd just like to touch on the key points in my mind. So first, what are the new standards, the changes that happened this year? Well, there were 2 new standards. GASB Statement 101, which is a new method for accounting for compensated absences. That required a restatement to the financial statements. That's a part of the standard. It has to be done that way. There wasn't a major impact, but when I say compensated absences, I mean your sick time, your vacation time, any kind of paid leave. So what the GASB said this year, and that's the Governmental Accounting Standards Board, is that we want to make one model for all governments to be able to record this liability. And so now under the new standard, you're required to not only record what you have to pay out were somebody to leave, but you also have to record what you expect people to use into the future. So that has been done. The city and the finance team made their estimates, and that's been recorded in the financial statements. There's one other standard, Statement 102, which didn't have any impact on the statement, so I'm not going to go into that. There are significant estimates in these statements, and before anybody gets alarmed, I always like to mention to boards, no set of financial statements could ever be prepared without some level of estimation. It is absolutely crucial and necessary to be able to prepare financial statements. The significant estimates in these financial statements are the useful lives of capital assets. So that would be when you purchase a new capital asset, how many years do you expect to be able to use that? So we've got a great example here. This TV and that TV, you probably put them under the same amount of years, but obviously this one went out a little sooner. That was an estimate. There's also the leases receivable. That involves discount rates and estimating how many extensions you may use in that contract. The big ones, the really big ones, are the net pension liability and the net OPEB liability, which Carl went over what the funding status of those is and what those values are. But those values, you have to know, can change wildly if some of the assumptions change. So even 1% could change those liabilities by millions of dollars. 1% on the discount rate or on the healthcare cost trends for the OPEB plan, for example. Other estimates that go into those are mortality rates, investment rates of return. So there's a lot of factors that the actuaries consider when they're developing these liabilities that we look over for reasonableness. And we believe they're reasonable and there's no bias involved. Lastly, that compensated absences, that new standard, that requires some estimation as well. What's upcoming with the GASB? What can you expect to see in the future? Well, there's 3 standards that are out there now. It's statements 103, 104, and 105. 103 will have the biggest impact, as that's going to require a new column in your budgetary schedules that shows variance between your original and final budget. And it's also going to require that you disclose what some of those major changes were. So if you have 0 revenues for grants and then you have $1 million in your final budget, you simply say, well, we didn't expect any grants. We were awarded this $1 million grant. The other really big part about this new standard is it's really changing the income statement for proprietary funds. So think your water and sewer fund. There's going to be this new section called subsidies, and they really define what operating versus non-operating revenues are for the purposes of those statements. So that's to come next year, well, this fiscal year, really. I have 2 findings to report. One of them Carl had mentioned already was the budget overages, and he actually explained already why that happened. So as you all know, you have to approve your final budget before your fiscal year ends, and due to the general fund coming in better than expected, more funds were transferred out. So the budget was not amended for that, but the state requires us to report budget overages. The next one is a significant deficiency. We restated the prior year based on an allocation that was done incorrectly for a road and water line project. It was incorrectly allocated to roads and water lines. It should have just been to the water line, so that has been corrected as well. So both of these really, there's no future action that needs to take place. They've been corrected as it stands now. With that, I'm happy to take any questions and hopefully keep it brief for you guys.
Thank you.
Madam Mayor, just
City Manager Tungate.
So, Michael, I just on the last point you made, that, would you say it's fair to say that's an accounts payable issue that was corrected? Simply in the way that they were billed into?
Really a coding issue,
Yeah,
right.
coding
So
issue.
whatever accounts were jotted down
Yeah.
as the invoice came through, they were just incorrectly allocated across funds. Absolutely.
And I want to go back on something you said, this is coming up in the next fiscal year. This is a GASB requirement.
Yep.
This is, the comparison is the percentage column would have to be added, the difference between the budgeted and the actual from the previous year, is that what it is?
Nope. Actually, so if you think about what your budgetary schedule looks like, your first column is the original budget, your second column is your final budget. You have to show a dollar value change between those two and explain significant changes.
Okay.
Then you already are showing your actual results, actual numbers, and then the variance between your actual and final, and you have to explain big changes from that as well.
So I just want to make sure I'm clear about this. In our budget document, that would be, we wouldn't know the.
You don't have to change your budget document at
Okay.
all. Nope, just in the financial statements.
Just in the financial statements,
Yeah,
okay.
Yep. Check that off your list, we'll worry about that.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
If there are no further questions, thank you so much for your time and clarity.
Yes, thank you all very much. We truly appreciate working with you. Want to extend special thanks to Sandra, Josh, and Carl. You guys have a great team, and everybody else on the finance team as well. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Have a great evening.
Item 8 on the agenda is accounting reports. 8A, we need approval for payment of an invoice submitted by Garen Lucal Miller, PC, for legal services in the amount of $15,172.81.
So moved.
Radner. Whitehead, thank you. A roll call, please?
Councilmember Crawford. Mayor Pro Tem Edgar.
Yes.
Mayor McClellan.
Yes.
Councilmember Radner. Councilmember Whitehead.
Motion carried, thank you. Item 9, ordinances. This is second reading and adoption of the proposed zoning map amendments for the City of Oak Park to change the zoning of the property at 13630 Balfour from R1, one-family dwelling, to R2, two-family dwelling. We had discussed this at the last council meeting. It will be used by the school on the corner of Coolidge and Balfour to increase their parking. Is there a motion to adopt?
So moved.
Radner? Is there a second?
Second.
Yep, Whitehead, thank you. Any discussion or questions about the second reading? Our attorney is here. Roll call vote, please.
Mayor Pro Tem Edgar,
Yes.
Mayor McClellan,
Yes.
Councilmember Radner, Councilmember Whitehead, Councilmember Crawford.
Motion carried unanimously. Thank you. Item 10 is city attorney. Attorney Courtney Kraus will talk to us about Bitcoin ATM locations in Oak Park.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and members of City Council. This matter is before you tonight as there was a prior inquiry from a neighboring community regarding whether City Council wanted to consider the adoption of an ordinance that would regulate cryptocurrency ATM machines. This was an idea that was first adopted in the state of Michigan by the City of Grosse Pointe Woods, and it subsequently was adopted by Harper Woods in Sterling Heights, and I was recently advised that Lathrop Village has also amended their ordinance. The primary objective in implementing an ordinance of this nature is to protect the public health and safety from scams involving cryptocurrency and fraud. There's been a memo that's been circulated to council that incorporates some of the recommendations from Attorney General Daniel Nessel's office, warning residents as to the potential risk of using cryptocurrency ATM machines, as well as certain signs that they should look out for that would indicate that a communication requesting that they use a cryptocurrency machine may be motivated by fraudulent intent. There are currently 6 known cryptocurrency ATM machines located in the city of Oak Park. The Department of Public Safety has advised that to date there has not been any reports of fraud or scams associated with these particular machines. So the purpose of the discussion tonight is for council to determine if this is something that you would like to consider going forward to regulate these machines. And I've outlined for you the various ways that they may be regulated under Michigan law, including requiring a business license, requiring registration with public safety, requiring receipts, as well as warning signs be posted near the machines. Council should also be aware that there is currently legislation pending in Lansing that would prohibit regulation of cryptocurrency at the local level. That legislation is currently still pending. So if, in fact, that legislation does move forward and is signed by the governor, then any ordinance that is implemented at the local level would be rendered unenforceable. There's also been some recommendations that Attorney General Dana Nessel has issued to residents that I've provided to you that residents should be aware of. First and foremost, that no company or governmental agency would ever require payment in cryptocurrency or from a cryptocurrency ATM machine. Residents should be aware of urgent requests. Scammers will often contact residents and create a sense of urgency to prevent victims from thinking about what they're about to do in order to get them to use the machines. Never trust your caller ID. If someone contacts you and represents that they are from a trusted source, such as a bank, always be mindful that if that is indeed the case, they could misrepresent and gain access to your information. Any doubt in your mind, hang up. Call the number on the back of your bank card, call the source directly. It never hurts to ask questions. Before making a large withdrawal from your bank, you also have resources available through your bank to make sure that those withdrawals are trusted and legitimate. And there is information that has been provided by the Attorney General's office where residents can reach out if they think they've been a victim of a scam, and public safety is also available for reports to be filed or questions from residents. I'm open to questions from council at this time, and I would encourage council to provide further direction to the city attorney's office as to whether or not this is an avenue you wish to consider moving forward.
Are there questions from council? Yes, Council Member Stephanie Crawford.
Businesses who already currently have the crypto ATMs, if we did adopt the regulations of the neighboring city, would they have to shut down those ATMs or while they apply for licenses or get in compliance?
No, they would not have to shut down. As we have done in the past with other ordinances, they would be given a period of time in which to come into compliance. So they would be able to continue operating during that period of time.
Any further questions? Mayor Pro Tem?
I really don't understand this at all. Like, why? I'm not going to ask you to explain Bitcoin, but what's the purpose of regulating this? I still don't quite understand. And who's using these ATMs? And I feel like we're starting, or at least I am, like in a position of real ignorance here, so I don't know what we're doing.
It's fairly complex, and you're correct. There is no formal legal definition of cryptocurrency that has been adopted to date. The federal government and federal agencies recognize this form of currency as a virtual currency. It takes many forms. The issue that has prompted some governmental entities to regulate it is that there is no widespread regulation. And because of that, and because it cannot be traced, it is often utilized by criminal organizations to move money. And that is the risk that individuals that choose to use these machines take, because unlike credit card fraud, which you do have avenues to recover losses, cryptocurrency currently offers no protections for consumers. And once their money goes into one of those machines, it is often gone permanently, and there's no way to track it, which is why some communities have chosen to be proactive and put these regulations in place to attempt to protect residents and make sure that they are informed as to the risks before they choose to use these machines.
So what is the legislation moving, what's the legislation in Lansing that you referred to, and will the governor sign it if it comes to her desk?
I don't know at this present time what the governor will do. There is legislation that has been brought by several members of the legislature that would prohibit local communities from regulating cryptocurrency. There is a second bill brought by, I believe, the same members that would require the state to invest a minimum amount of pension funds in cryptocurrency. Both bills are still pending, and there has been no decision made. I am bringing that to your attention only because if the city does choose to move forward with an ordinance and these bills, particularly the one that would prohibit regulation at the local level, are ultimately successful, then the ordinance would be rendered unenforceable.
To me, regardless of what the legislature does, it would be good practice for us to direct our city attorney to craft an ordinance including all these requirements. I'm thinking I'd like to set the limits for 500 to 1,000, but I don't know if that's possible.
Madam Mayor, can I speak, please?
Yes, please. Solomon Radner, council member.
My general thoughts on this are, this is not something that we should be regulating.
Why?
I think that this is something that should be regulated by the federal government or the state government, just like all things banking. We can't, for example, have an ordinance that you can't charge 30% for a credit card, because it's just that whether the government catches up with us in a month or a year, I have no doubt that there's going to be either state and or federal regulation or legislation that governs this.
Would
So-
you, happy to do it, like, so that it's regulated up until that point?
Yeah, I mean, you need a crypto wallet to be able to use it. You can't just use your own ATM card. These are people who already have cryptocurrency and are trying to access it. It's not like you or I could just walk into this crypto ATM machine, use a credit card, and I guess we could buy crypto, but that's if we want to buy it. If you don't want to buy it, just don't buy it. And I mean,
I happen to agree.
I don't think it's necessary. I'm not hell-bent on it. I'm kind of like this, and I don't think it's something that we should be regulating.
I just figure until someone else regulates it,
No,
let's
I hear that. That makes sense.
protect our residents.
It makes sense. I just
Even,
don't
I'm
agree.
understanding it could be temporary.
Yeah. I'm curious what.
Any other
feeling?
feelings about it, one way or another,
Are we trying to protect people from themselves here?
from fraud?
Well, I don't know. I'm kind of with Solomon on this. I just feel like, why are we wading into this? something that we don't really understand. And it'll be moot anyway if the federal government takes action or the state government passes these bills.
Right, so this would just be until some other entity decides to take over.
I don't know. I think banking, we should just stay out of it. That's just my thoughts on it. I don't know.
Do we, any feelings further down?
Get the cloud side of the table.
Well, currently, we haven't had any issues or problems or any with it. We really don't, I don't know if this body understands it enough to enforce those regulations or to put, those regulations on those crypto. I know, me, myself, I don't.
Maybe more training, maybe more information for the council.
Could be.
We'd like
But the fact
further
that there's
training.
legislation at the state level in which there possibly could,
The
disregard
legislation,
any regulations, that kind of speaks volumes for me, so.
we are, City Manager Tungate, would you like to jump in on this?
Not really, Madam Mayor. I can't speak to whether or not you should regulate it. I certainly have my own personal feelings about cryptocurrency, and I'll just share those with you if you'd like, which in general, there's no there. So, the dollar is worth something because the federal treasury of our country backs that dollar in the case of a default. Well, where's the federal treasury when it comes to Bitcoin? Is it Russia or China? Like, who's the, there's no there. So I think it's
Risky.
It is very striking to me, and I know that, there's some cities, the city of Detroit, I think, is one of them, that is taking cryptocurrency as payment for taxes and things right now. And I know even the federal government is supporting this. I personally think it's absurd. I think it's, but again, I don't think that has anything to do with us regulating ATM machines. I think the bigger question regarding this is just, is there nefarious activity around these in these locations? And, okay, I don't know, I can't answer that.
And our public safety department hasn't seen this.
Right, so-
Okay, seems general that we will drop this issue, or you prefer to study it a bit?
Table it.
Table it, we will table it. Okay. Let me see. City Manager Tungate, this is your section.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of council. 11A1, I would like to ask, I believe our city assessor, Dawn Sheets, is here to speak, as she is every year, graciously comes and speaks about the Board of Review meeting dates. Hi, Dawn.
The city charter states that you have to set the rate of compensation for the Board of Review. It's always been $120 for a full day, $60 for a half day, and we haven't changed it, and we're just asking for it just to be approved to stay as is for the board members. And then the city charter also states that the board meets on the second and fourth Monday in March, and to schedule the additional date for appeals has to be approved, so we're asking for Tuesday, March 10th from 5 to 8 for appeals.
Okay, so this needs a vote, correct? Yes, okay.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you.
Second.
Redner and Whitehead. It's compensation, so let's do roll call.
Mayor McClellan.
Yes?
Councilmember Radner.
Yes.
Councilmember Whitehead.
Yes.
Councilmember Crawford.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Edgar.
Yes.
Motion carried, thank you.
Dawn, you are here for the poverty exemption income guidelines as well. 11A2, please.
Yes. So the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services sends out the federal poverty guidelines. The City of Oak Park has adopted to do 150% over the federal poverty guidelines. So I submitted the numbers for approval by city council to put on the poverty exemption application.
First, we need a motion to approve. Redner,
Second.
Edwards. Then, questions. Where do the guidelines come from? Is this federally, just handed down?
It's from the federal government,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. We have approved the guidelines.
Thank you, Dawn.
Have a great evening.
You too. Okay, we have 11B1. We have our esteemed colleague David DeCoster, our Deputy City Manager of Municipal Services in the Department of Public Works. And thank you, Public Works, for all of the water main breaks and snow and ice and everything else that you guys have been dealing with.
Thank you.
And more
Good
to come
evening.
tonight.
Good evening, yeah,
Tonight and tomorrow morning.
Yes.
yeah. Cold week. Good evening, Mayor, City Council, City Manager Tungate. No offense to Carl, but we're in the fun part of the agenda. Before you tonight is a request to reward the professional services contract for architecture and engineering services for the community center construction project to Newman Smith Architecture. In December 2025, just last month, a request for proposals was sent to multiple engineering and architectural firms regarding work on the community center project. This project includes the planning, design, architectural plan creation, and project support for the new community center project. The city manager designated an RFP selection team to evaluate and review the 17 proposals submitted. The team evaluated the proposals and based on the criteria such as project approach, project team, proposal fees, and incidentals, the team came up with top 3 firms that were interviewed by the selection team. This extensive process led to the recommendation of Newman Smith Architecture for this project. This award falls under the professional services exemption to the sealed bidding process requirements, section 2-379. A breakdown of fees is in your packet. So tonight, it is recommended that City Council approve the professional service contract with Newman Smith Architecture for the total not to exceed price of $2,061,700. This contract will require approval by the city attorney, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have. Additionally, we have Jim Stock here, the design director with Newman Smith, should you have any questions for them.
I have a comment, maybe a question, if I could, Madam Mayor. Jim, I want to thank you for, in your proposal, these renderings of other projects, including the Oak Park Event Hub project, are wonderful. They've helped me kind of understand, like you have what could be our pool area and some other things.
Absolutely.
So thank you for doing that.
Thank you.
I do have a question, though. How much of the work that you guys have done on the Event Hub do you think will translate aesthetically more than anything else to what we're going to do at the community center?
Well, that's a great question, and I think, what we like to do is they're called visioning sessions. And so we like to, put forth in front of, the residents and you and Parks and Rec folks, different images of recreation centers. And we like to take a poll on what you feel is appropriate of what this recreation center could look like. And so from there, we start to develop design work. We have no preconceived notions on what it could be and what it could turn out to be. I mean, this is, you'll only see us for, a couple years, but this is your community center that you'll have for the next, 50 to 60, 70 years. And so, we're here to, understand what we think is appropriate for the community, and we'd like to involve you in that process and make something beautiful for you. So,
Thank you.
sure.
I have a question.
Councilmember Redner.
Some of the pictures say what they are, like the Greater Midland Community Center.
Yes.
And some don't. If they don't, are they AI generated?
No, there's no AI generation in those.
'Cause I was
No,
gonna say, if this
no.
is AI generated, the attention to detail.
No, in fact,
These are all real projects you've done.
that's correct.
These are all.
In fact, we are now, we've been asked as a design firm to state on things that are AI generated to say as such. So, yeah.
All right, I'll make the motion for the mayor.
Okay, let's see. To award professional services to Newman Smith. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Julie Edgar. Questions or discussion? You're going to have town hall meetings and that kinds of things, including all these pictures, and people can sort of weigh in on what appeals to them.
So our communications team will be pushing all that information out. Newman Smith, as well as our construction manager, Barton Mallow, will be invited, will be part of the team to meet with the public and the staff to talk about those things. But yes, that will be happening.
I appreciate your coming out. Any further questions? No, we're excited to think about changing the face of the city of Oak Park. And we want it to be monumentally wonderful.
Well, I'd like to say thank you for selecting our firm. We feel the excitement with the hub under construction and be able to continue that, just down the road. I think it's wonderful. It's a great amenity for the community. And matter of fact, I live in Berkeley, and I've taken my son and both my boys sledding on the hill right there, not as cold as this. And I think I was remarking how that's how I messed up my L4 and L5, sledding down that hill. But we feel very grateful that you selected our firm, and thank you very much.
Oh, nice. City manager.
Jim, I want to just, as a testament to the great work you guys are doing at your firm, we had and I want to thank Dave DeCoster, by the way, council members, for spearheading this effort. Very comprehensive. But Jim, I think as a testament to your firm, we went at this process not taking into consideration that you guys had done the event hub for us.
Yeah.
And you won the project
Thank you.
objectively, which
Thank
says
you.
a tremendous amount. I'm personally glad because obviously there's the connection between the event hub. So
Sure.
I wanted to mention that because I think that says a lot about the work you guys are doing.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Looking forward to a long, eventful partnership.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, need a vote.
Need a vote. Okay. We've got the motion and the second. Roll call vote to award this contract.
Councilmember Radner.
Yes.
Councilmember Whitehead.
Yes.
Councilmember Crawford.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Edgar.
Yes.
Mayor McClellan.
Yes. Motion carried. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Dave, 11B2, please.
Thank you. So before you tonight is approval of payment application number 7 and change order number 5 for the Event Hub project in the amounts of $449,283.20 and $0 respectively. Believe it or not, we are now in our 7th month of construction.
Oh, wow.
So the change order, again, is a 0 change order. This is for field changes we experienced during the field. The changes were caught in allowances, so we had allowances within the budget to cover these costs. However, a way of documenting them is to put them in what we call a change order. So it is a 0 change order again this month. These documents have been reviewed by our construction manager as well as our architects. Frank Rewald and Sons, our general contractor, construction manager, will pay these contractors on our behalf. Project is approximately 50% complete, and it is recommended that pay application number 7 and change order number 5 for the Event Hub project be approved. Funding is available in the Event Hub Fund, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Okay, do we have a motion for this approval?
So moved.
Thank you. Edgar? Radner? Discussion? Questions? My question was, why 0? Yeah, thank you for answering that ahead of time. Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Whitehead.
Yes.
Councilmember Crawford.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Edgar.
Yes.
Mayor McClellan.
Yes,
Councilmember Radner.
motion carried. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Dave, stay right there. We do have a brief update I wanted to give on the Elevate Oak Park initiative. Council members, I'll spare you the community center update because I think we just had it with, the big step of hiring our new architects. You do have an event hub and band shell construction progress report in your packet, council members. I will note that as of this past December, the project is now about 56% completed. We did have the opportunity, a couple weeks ago now, to go through and personally tour it. The mayor joined us. council members. We're going to try to get another one planned, so if you'd like to come, we're going to be doing that. But I think once, and it's the first time I had been in the space since it was under construction, I think once you get in there, it just all becomes real. It's been so, nebulous for so long, and then you get in there and it's real, and it's much larger inside than I think I imagined it would be. So, Dave, as far as some construction updates on the event hub in Ban Chill, I noticed they are putting in the glass on the far west end.
Correct.
And then they're going to continue that when and?
Yeah, so the
when?
glass and the clear store at the very top is now all on site. We had a little bit of delays during the holidays with some of the glazing and the glass and the doors, but as the city manager stated, that is now on site. They're actively installing that. You'll still see some of the visqueen and the plastic blocking some of the wind out and things while they work. But soon they may be removing some of that. The garage doors, I believe as we spoke about last meeting, those are en route. They were supposed to be here during the holidays, but a little bit of a delay. But those garage doors will be installed. They're actively working on the commercial kitchen installation of that equipment, actively working on the ceiling and some of the finishes in the event hub portion. As they start winding down over the next, say, 2 to 3 months, the interior finishes. So the interior should be wrapping up late spring, is when then we're going to move heavily to the outside site amenities. So we have site lighting, concrete, sodding, all the trees, all the bushes, all the picnic tables, all the amenities on the outside that we still need to take care of. So a lot of work yet to come, but it's exciting and things are progressing well.
And they can do work in this frigid weather?
So on the inside, we do have commercial heaters running on the inside. We need to keep that climate controlled, keep the humidity at certain levels for drywall and things. So, but yes, to answer your question, yes, they can work.
So you're kind of ahead of schedule.
Well, he won't say that.
Yeah,
He won't say that.
I don't like.
It's against his constitution
Yeah.
to say that, Mayor, but-
You're
I'll
not
tell you
late.
that
You're
the
not
last
running
day
late.
we open.
Yeah, we'll see.
But I will say this about that. We're still pushing for a late June, potentially ribbon cutting to coincide with our State of the City address, so, to be held at this. So we'll get there. Well, we'll get there, won't we, Dave?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
And real quick, if the update for Oak Park Woods is very similar to last month, they're really focusing on some of the interior finishes of the warming kitchen, the bathroom, and the installation of the outside play structures. It's been very cold, tough on the guys working out there. So things are moving a little bit slow. They're probably going to take off February-ish timeline, hit back out there in the early spring to finish up that things. They have a lot of work they have to do out there. Again, concrete work, some of the pavilion at Shelter 1 and possibly Shelter 2. The poured in place pavement and things for the play structure. So a lot of work to happen, but they're all on schedule for a late June, really July 1 ribbon cutting out there as well.
Wow.
Dave, that main slide there is how tall again?
I could get you the number. It's got to be close to 25, 30 feet.
Yeah, I thought I saw 30 feet, but the main, which, it's
Yes.
crazy. The kids are going to love it, so that's all coming along, so.
Eric said he wanted to be first down it.
Yes, I did. And break a hip. Good thing I'm covered. Council members, thank you, Dave. Council members,
you.
unless there are other questions, that completes the city manager report for this evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you to our outstanding staff for more wonderful work. Mayor Pro Tem, would you read the call to the audience?
Okay, this is for members of the public who are here to speak. Each speaker's remarks are a matter of public record. The speaker alone is responsible for his or her comments, and the City of Oak Park does not, by permitting such remarks, support, endorse, or accept the content thereof as being true or accurate. Any person, while being heard at a city council meeting, may be called to order by the chair or any council member for failure to be germane to the business of the city, vulgarity, or personal attacks on persons or institutions. There's a 3-minute time limit per speaker.
Thank you. Do we have any cards for speakers?
I have one. Don Jones.
Thank you. Donald Jones, 24660 West Hampton. I had only one thing. Please please, please go to oakparklaborday.com. We have this great event hub coming, I understand. So let's program it. But then I had to add a second thing. The state legislature asking to require pension fund investments in cryptocurrency. I have one word for that. That's called theft.
Thank you. Anyone else? Thank you. Next, we have call to the council. Yesterday, I was at Oak Park High School attending a wonderful celebration of the life of Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. With pictures and awards and choir, a combined choir of 3 elementary schools that did great. The marching band is so impressive. They are military in their precision. They were wonderful. Mayor Pro Tem Julie Edgar attended with Don Jones to register voters to vote, which is something we all need to do. Mayor Pro Tem Julie Edgar.
Thank you all for coming out tonight in this very, very, very cold weather. Just want to remind you that Sunday is Winterfest. It's always a wonderful event, and starts at 1. It goes from 1 to 4. The ice arena is open for those of you who like to skate, and everything is free. Is it not open this year? Oh, sorry about that. Will the reindeer be here at least?
Yes.
Okay, that's good.
Shetland cattle, is it miniature cattle?
Miniature
Ooh.
cows.
Okay, mini cows, people. So do come out. It's always a wonderful event, and I just wanted to add that yesterday, on my way into Oak Park High School, I heard drills going inside the event hub. I couldn't believe they were working. It was about 5 degrees, so I've got to commend them on getting this job done. And Director DeCoster, thank you. Thank you. I mean, it looks great, and they're making a lot of progress. So thank you, and good night.
Councilmember Radner.
Have a good night, everybody.
Thank you. Short but sweet. Councilmember Whitehead.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Great job to the financial department. I just want to say that, led by Carl and Director Crawford, just amazing work. Josh, appreciate you. And I think there was only like 2 things they said about the whole audit out of millions and millions of transactions. So, I mean, that's just super impressive. We also had a good special meeting tonight going over our master plan. So I'm super proud about the next decade and what that's going to look like for our city and elevating Oak Park. So with that, have a good night and try to stay warm, everyone.
Councilmember Crawford.
And to all of our Oak Park residents, it's been very cold. Our warming center has been open. Take advantage of that if you need to. A lot of people, carrying viruses and flus. So everyone just take care of yourself and be kind to one another and stay warm and good night.
Thank you. There being no further business to come before this council, this meeting is adjourned.